Hi guys, Chick here on day 43 of the 77-day video challenge. We had an interesting night last night with horrible storms going through the area, so I had to do a quick pivot last night and do this from my phone, which was an experience in and of itself. But enough of that. I was sitting here today earlier and I was meditating and thinking back on my life as I have I want to do in case you haven't figured that out yet. And I heard my mother's voice come to me, and the question she used to ask all the time was, "Son, do you know why God gave you two ears and one mouth?" I'm sure a lot of you have probably already heard this from your own moms. And her answer was, so you could listen twice as much as you speak. And I think she said that to me as often as she did because I never practiced that growing up. The other thing that made me think about today was when I won't say when I first got in recovery, I'd been in recovery 9 or 10 years, I guess. And I was going to this meeting, and there was this elderly lady in our meeting, and how can I put this nicely? She just always impressed me as kind of flighty, kind of like an Edith Bunker type. And so, whenever she would begin to share in the meeting, in a recovery meeting, I would just kind of tune her out and I wouldn't really listen to her completely. And I'd been going to that meeting for a while, and one day after the meeting, one of my friends came to me after the meeting. He said, "Man, did you hear what we'll call a Lulu? Did you hear what Lulu said today? That was so powerful and so poignant." And I went, "Huh? She what?" She said, "What?" He said, "You weren't even listening, were you?" And he nailed me right between the eyes. I was not listening. But I do take suggestions and I do take advice. And so from that point on, whenever Lulu would start sharing, most of the time, especially when she would begin her sharing, it was all over the place and it didn't make a lot of sense. But I learned that if I continued to listen, before she was finished, there was always at least a nugget of wisdom in what she was sharing that could help me to grow in my recovery and in my life. Fast forward a couple of years, and I joined Toastmasters. And Toastmasters says that they provide a safe and positive atmosphere where you can learn communication and leadership skills. And it made me think back because one of the things that they teach you, people think Toastmasters is all about public speaking, and that is a large part of it. But it's teaching you communication skills, which is not only speaking, but listening. Listening intently, listening intentionally, and listening not to interrupt or to speak or to make your point, but to listen to where the person is really coming from. Whether you agree with them or not is beside the point. It's listening to understand where it is they're coming from. But I've come to find out that I have a lot of friends who are very different than I am in their theology, in their philosophy, and in everything else. I'm still very good friends with those people. And the reason is because I understand where they're coming from. But I couldn't understand that if I didn't listen, truly listen. One of the great things that Toastmasters teaches you is to do evaluations. And to do an evaluation of a speech, you have to learn to listen. I'm also reminded of, I don't know if I've told you guys this or not, but one of the things that I was told early on in recovery by people with more experience than I did when I was ranting and raving about how much I knew when I didn't know anything was the old timers used to say to me, son, take the cotton out of your ears and put it in your mouth. I truly understand what that means now. So next time you're listening or in a conversation with someone, stop and truly listen to what it is they want to share with you instead of listening to see what you can add to the conversation. For a change, learn what you can learn from the conversation. Hope you guys have a great day. See you tomorrow, one day at a time.